All right. So we're getting ready to get into the comment section of Georgetown County Council meeting that took place on March 14th. We are watching this together live. So if you're hanging out with me late tonight, I guess this is the insomniac session of Welcome to Andrews Podcast. So welcome to all my insomniac friends. And let's go through this. Yep. Yep. I just wanted to get into this part because I didn't have a chance to watch this meeting from yesterday. Get to catch it live while it was going on live. So right off the bat, I noticed that the chairman is not there tonight, and so you have from left to right Bob Anderson and this other lady's name I keep forgetting and not knowing, but this lady here, I don't know her name either, but I know these two guys here, and the guy in the light brown looking suit here is the infamous, excuse me, let me stop playing with that, man. That's Mr. Everett Carolina, and to his right is Mr. Raymond Newton, and to his right is Mr. New guy. What is the new guy's name? Let's pull him up here. Give him some shine. Here he is, Mr. Elliott. There it is, Mr. Clint Elliott. So welcome, Mr. Clint Elliott. So let's get into this meeting. And again, this is the public comment section. Apparently there was a lot of people commenting last night, so they were limited to 2 minutes. Typically it's a 3-minute session where the citizens get to, present their concerns in front of council, and let's see if Georgetown County Council is going to respond to any things that the citizens have to say. And let's get into this right now.
Of horses, that the service that you render to the community, and I'm sure that the parents are very happy that you are part of their lives, because it takes all of us to help make Georgetown a better place to live. So thank you so much for what you do.
I think she meant to say Georgetown County there, but it's all about Georgetown, I guess.
Public comments. A public comment period is included on each meeting agenda and shall be limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. No speaker may yield his or her allotted time to another speaker. Members of the public who wish to address council during the public input period should sign up with the clerk of council, who's not here tonight, before the meeting is called to order. We have 16 persons who have signed up, and we will ask you kindly to observe a 2-minute limitation on your presentation. At this time, we will hear from whoever is presenting the names.
Me. Madam Vice Chairperson.
2 minutes is not a lot of time to get any kind of point across, and that's even for professional, skilled speakers. Hey, there go Jenny Hunt from Andrews SC News. Jenny looked pissed when she just walked out. Hold on a second, Miss Hunt. Don't you Don't you do that like that? Miss Hunt ran up there just now, like they almost been pissed her off. Okay, hold on. Let me back up a little bit.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Hunt, and I live in Andrews. I try to speak every month, and I end up having a planned little speech, and I get nervous and don't say everything that I would like to say. But what I would like to say tonight is please bring the EMS back to Andrews. There is over 2,500 residents in Andrews. Now, the closest EMS is in Big Dam, which is at least 8 minutes away. Mr. Brandon Ellis stated that it changed the responsiveness to calls about 2 minutes. I don't think so. I don't think so. And he also stated there was problems with the building. That cost $300,000 to fix. How much is a life worth to you? Is your grandson, who might be visiting Hugs for Horses, who
could be injured?
are they not worth $300,000?
It's a very good question. Is it because of the zip code? It's a good question, Ms. Hunt. Shout out to Andrews SC News. Great question.
2 of the 7 county councilmen live in Andrews. That's almost.
They represent Andrews. One lives in Andrews. One doesn't live in Andrews. But we got 2 council representatives from on the Georgetown County Council.
Almost a third. And we don't have an ambulance. We don't have EMS. The next one after Big Dam is 9 Mile Curve, which is farther than that.
So if it's 8 minutes from Big Dam to Andrews, and they were like, there's 2 minutes. It was like, well, they must got a secret tunnel to the town or something. They must pop up through like a bat cave or something. So if that's 8 minutes, then you can triple that. You know what I mean? That's if the ambulance is not occupied.
Please consider bringing back EMS.
And that's very powerful what you just said, because again, I've been pointing out to you that plan, that whole demolition of the building and all that stuff. Again, that EMS shed that the county owns, and the county is in control of EMS. They have that's slated to be destroyed too. So the plan is permanent. It's just like there's no consideration for the people of Andrews and the safety hazards. Again, one is not even enough.
And I know the Hugs for Horses people just left, but I will be volunteering for them. I will be contacting them. But there's a... And
while she's on the screen right there, let me shout this lady out right here. She has been really working, and more than anything, she's been learning. We've been learning together. We've been going through this whole process together. And you got two just people that that are interested in figuring this thing out. And again, 501c Andrews Beautification Group. We're gonna have to do this ourselves. You see the frustration on Ms. Hunt's face right there. Okay. And it's all about just making things better for the future, for the future of the town, for the people of the town. And you can see pictured in this picture here, like, you know, a lot of people talk about what they're doing, but this lady is always there. Okay. And you gotta keep in mind that this is time away from her family, and it's for the betterment of somebody else. And you see two of the three wise men right there. You see Mr. Booby Mays. You see Mr. Jerome Johnson. And you see the mayor back there pictured in this. So the question is, where are you? And if you're watching it here online, you're here. So, you know, you're here looking for some information, and let me get back to it.
Over 50 churches, 4 schools. Please.
She meant to say 24 churches, 4 schools, dialysis center, a number of trailer parks, 2 housing projects, 3 housing complexes. You got Arbor Place, you got the one in Devonshire, and then you got the one over by the primary. Then you got the aging community over there, and then there's another community over there, and right there across from Williamsburg County. Because we're talking about Andrews, but we're not. And it's just how things just bleed together, you know. Williamsburg County has a say in this too, because we service people right on the county line. You're not going to just be like, well, you're not from Georgetown County, so, you know, there's a lot of people involved.
Consider bringing
Not just those people that she's talking about inside the town of Andrews. You're talking Osita, you're talking Big Dam, you're talking the Bloomingville area, you're talking. Come on, man.
bringing back EMS to Andrews.
And council's response is, all right, they're writing something down. Okay. And this would have been the time for the 2 councilmen that she addressed right here to the right of your screen. The 2 that are sitting there writing something down. Like they always do that. They always sitting there like they're writing something down. What are you writing?
Joey McHugh.
Good afternoon. I'm Joey McHugh. I'm one of the residents in Inlet Point South, the original Inlet Point South, which consists of 26 homes, 13 of which are on the ocean front, 13 of which are on the marsh. If you're here in opposition to the peninsula's petition and travel behavior, please stand up so the council member is aware of who's here. Now, thank you. People have come from Chicago, from Michigan, from Columbia, from North Carolina, from Virginia to be here because this is an important issue to us. And I'm sorry to have to tell y'all, but y'all been put in a really bad position. And you've been put in a bad position by your planning commission. This matter came before the planning commission, initially scheduled for January.
I'm telling you, I'm on it, sir, because that whole planning commission and these boards, it gets tricky when these people are appointing. I mean, Councilman Raymond Newton he's the council person, and he appoints himself as a member of the board. Like, I don't even know where he's going with this, but I got a hunch.
And the petitioners withdrew that petition after they were informed that the notice was improper and there was a defect in the application itself. It said that Inlet Point South was the petitioner when in fact it was the peninsula. At that time, I had communications with the planning commission staff, advising them that I'm a deeded owner of a fee simple interest in a house at Inlet Point South. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, the property line, this is between my property line and the Madam Vice Chairman, is about how far across this water treatment plant is from the corner of our lot. Yet the planning commission failed to give proper notice of the planning commission hearing in January. The petitioner withdrew the hearing for that, or the matter from that hearing. And yet, when it came before the commission in February, they also failed to provide proper notice, despite having heard from me and others who failed to get notice of the hearing.
And this is a reoccurring theme with Georgetown County Council. They do what they want to do. The citizens are just collateral damage. And here we are with 3 seconds left, and this man is just now getting into what needs to be said. This is a very, very, very serious situation. And here's, obviously he's not talking to any council people or anything, or he would not be here. Throwing rocks at the throne.
Now, they also, when I did,
And they hit him. They hit him a second or two early. Let's go back here to 16 seconds. Let's check this out, y'all. Watch this.
and yet, when it came before the commission in February, they also failed to provide proper notice, despite having heard from me and others who failed to get notice of the hearing. Now, they also,
Yeah, they hit him for a second. They started a second. Y'all reclaiming my time.
when I did to them that, I told them of the defect in the notice. They proceeded with the hearing. Now, they put y'all in a political box because no politician I know of wants to have their name associated in the paper negative. They want y'all to proceed on a matter that wasn't properly heard at the planning commission. That puts y'all in a bad spot. There have been 2 articles so far in the Post and Courier about this very issue. And I
Mr.
feel
McHugh,
certain, I've not talked to them.
your time has ended.
Your time has ended. And what do we have to say to what you're saying? Keep going, bro. Keep going.
But I feel certain
Keep
there'll
going.
be multiple articles got it, particularly if council chooses to ignore the rights of the landowners most affected.
Eliza Lennon.
That's Georgetown County responding right there.
Georgetown County, and worked at the hospital for 20 years as a registered nurse. Retired now, but I'm so concerned when I'm hearing stuff that 2 dead people was found on Choppy where I was born and raised. It's like, that's scary. Things that used to happen away from us, it's happening right here. And that's really scary. We have young children that we're raising, our grands or great grands. We just need to have more law enforcement, please, in our rural area.
And these are taxpayers that's sitting here begging for more law enforcement. And here's a theme that's echoing throughout the county, but Andrews is the problem. Okay. Carter Weaver, he's the super cop. Jump out the car. He's at those Carter Weaver on the arrest. But here are real people. Here are the real people coming.
I mean, if they're just driving around on unmarked car, it would probably help some of the crime. My other concern is I live right off of Dunbar Road. It's a very narrow highway. I don't know if you've ever traveled it. I'm always afraid. I had a nephew came from New York and he was here probably about 4 months, riding his bike to the store on Dunbar Road, and a car hit him and he was killed. Please, we need the road to be done over. Large trucks come through our.
Ray Funny. Morant. This is you guys' area.
Community and driving really fast. I mean, Potwood, lots of 18-wheelers. I realize it's a county road, but sometimes you gotta limit the weight because our road's forever torn up. They fix it 1 week, the next week it's already torn up. Please do something about that.
Wow. And the man that's directly in charge of that department lives in that community. This is heartbreaking.
The other thing I want to mention is a bike trail, a walk trail would be very good down that road. It would just at least give us another exercise point.
I'm curious as to what the involvement of those citizens over, and that's where the area she's talking about, where Black River ends over there. I mean, not ends, but that's where that the state park is gonna end at, in that area. And I wonder if these citizens from that area are have as much information. And that's not to say that Andrews has a lot of information, but Andrews does have a lot of information on this. I'm gonna be keeping it real. I just wonder if, yeah, sounds like I gotta take a field trip out to the Dunbar area.
And I realize we do have some parks in the area, but just to walk straight down that road would be great. So thank you, and I appreciate whatever you can do to help us keep the crime down in our community. God bless you.
And Georgetown County's response is?
Don Dubose.
They're writing. They're doing a lot of writing. Obviously, I would love to see what they're writing.
Thanks for letting me talk. I'll be brief. I have a place at Inlet Point. 30 years ago, I talked to Joe Payne, who's captain of the Clemson Cotton Bowl team, and I asked Joe when we were looking at the lots. I had all the lots on the marsh. Only maybe one was taken, so I was trying to figure out which one I'd like. So I chose the one I did, and I asked Joe, I said, Joe, there ever gonna be any house built in front of this in my lot? And he didn't answer me then. He went back, and I think the next day he told me the CEO, I think who was retired now, he said, no, there never be any houses built on those lots. So that satisfied me. If I'd known that, I would not chosen what I did. That was my.
So what he's saying is that they gave him a bait and switch, is what he's saying. He's saying that, you know what I mean? He basically was talking to somebody that he trusted, and you know, he asked a legitimate question. He's like, hey, I like this property, but is another house going to be built, you know, wherever, blocking his view, or, you know, wherever close to the property? And the person who, I guess, was selling him the property or middling on the deal, that person actually took time and went and asked whoever, and I think he's meaning he's saying the CEO, but I think he's meaning the county administrator at the time. I could be wrong, but that's a Freudian slip there, buddy.
I regret that this might happen. Thank y'all.
Russ Hunt.
I don't know whether you know it or not, but there are two teams from the state of South Carolina that are going to be playing in the NCAA tournament this week. Furman and College Charleston. I went to Furman, this purple, and we're playing.
The water treatment plant break dead center. That's where my wife and I bought a house back in 2020. I would like to
Give up my time to someone else.
Thank you, sir.
Eric Obal.
thank you, members of the council. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm Eric Obal. live at 234 Inlet Point South Drive, right across from the water treatment plant right dead center. That's where my wife and I bought a house back in 2020. I would like to ask that you oppose this amendment to the Inlet Point Plan Development. One of the reasons why, I'll touch base on this evening, is in the IPS covenants and restrictions under Article 9, Section 2B. It states, ensuring that the
Hey man, there's a country song that says, "I think all people are good," and I share in that, and it's. I think the other side of if the citizens decided to, man,
location and configuration of structures are visually harmonious with the terrain and vegetation of the lots and dwelling units, and with dwelling units and surrounding lots, dwelling units and structures, and does not unnecessarily block scenic views from existing structures or tend to dominate any general development or natural landscape. If the proposed homes or this proposal goes through, were built on these two sites, they would most certainly block our scenic views to the ocean and to the marsh, plus dominate the middle of our neighborhood with two 50-foot tall houses that would look completely out of place with the current structures and landscape. I ask that you oppose this amendment to Inlet Point Plan. Thank you.
Ryan McHugh.
there Georgetown County is responding again.
I'm Ryan McHugh, council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm in opposition of turning the water treatment facility into 2 lots. As others have pointed out, I think that it goes against the covenants and restrictions put in place to protect the neighborhood and the feel that it's had up until this point. I also call into question the legitimacy of this hearing because I don't think proper procedure was followed in getting us to this point. And I do think that's something we'll have to look into further.
Sounds like another lawsuit's on the way. Man, who's the law firm? That's the next foyer right there. We need to figure out who is the law firm or law firms that represent Georgetown County, and we need to find out the connections in these law firms. Are these law firms in any way connected to any of these council people? Because that would be a awesome racket. Hey, look, let's just run the ship aground, and then we own the tugboats to pull the ship out. Little naval analogy right there for
I
you.
also do intend to be here on the 28th if we do get to that point. Thank you.
I'll be there right there with you, but I couldn't be there in the last couple of days. Palmetto Pest Control needed me, baby. But you got a minute 25 up there. You done look at his body language. He done dropped the mic on him. Let me leave right here. Bang. So here's their response.
I'm going to mispronounce this and I apologize. Randy Bohouse?
Sorry, I'm not a good printer. It's Randy Beers from the Twin Cities. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for hearing my concern. We've been vacationing down in this area for 45 years. My family has a reunion every year. I've been a property owner here for 35 years. We just finished a home in Lot 2 of Inlet Point South. I spent my first night there last night, and we're thrilled to be. Thank you.
Reverend Alfred Darby?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of Georgetown County Council. There was a prime meeting at our church, and I'm the pastor, Reverend Alfred Darby, the pastor of Nazareth AME Church, Choppy Community. And the sheriff stated to us that there has not been an increase in the number of deputies in 20 years. Note it's difficult to retain good personnel. Thank you.
Reverend Alfred Darby?
I wanted y'all to
Thank you,
hear this
Madam
again.
Chairman,
This is
members of Georgetown County.
for all of those that want to scream about the police situation in Andrews, South Carolina. I just want, I'm not proving a point, and I'm not improving the situation. I'm pointing out the obvious. So
County Council. There was a prime meeting at our church, the pastor, Reverend Alfred Darby, the pastor of Nazareth, AME Church, Choppy Community. And the sheriff stated to us that there's not been an increase in the number of deputies in 20 years. We know it's difficult to retain good personnel. But we urge you to give additional funding so that not only we can hire more deputies, but we can retain them. We ask for your support in this matter. I know the surrounding counties, it is difficult, it's not easy. We're asking you whatever funding you can to please do that. And second, Ebenezer Church, where Ebenezer Church is located in Andrews, there's a 4-way stop sign there. And a light needs to be there on the county line between Williamsburg and Georgetown counties. Whatever you can do, please do that.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And to his point, ladies and gentlemen, to that man's point right there, what you just witnessed was a car coming northbound on 41, which is a county line road right beside Ebenezer Church, right through that 4-way stop. And like he said, there needs to be a light there. Just like Ms. Hunt say, how much these are matters of life and death that these people are in front of council talking about.
I also want to say ditto to the individual that came up about emergency medical service in Andrews. That's a wide area and it needs that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Darby. And these are, oh man.
Cindy Person.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Person. I'm here this evening to speak about a proposed amendment to the GR ordinance that's on Thursday's Planning Commission agenda. The packet states that council has requested that we review the requirement for site plan reviews for multifamily projects and consider removing the Planning Commission and council from the review process. While we wholeheartedly agree and support a revision to the GR ordinance to bring both the site plan review process as well as the zoning ordinance itself into compliance with state law, the proposed amendments that are on the agenda do not accomplish that goal. Site plan reviews are certainly appropriate for staff decision if the underlying zoning is in compliance with state law in the first place. In Georgetown County, we have a great deal of GR zoning that is out of sync with the comprehensive plan. The proposed amendment does not address this problem, and it could be very easily remedied by a one-sentence revision to the text of the GR ordinance. It does not require downzoning. That sentence is notably absent. Site plans that are reviewed by staff are always appealable to Planning Commission. The proposed revision does not address any of the critical components of the appeal process or how such staff decisions will be communicated to the interested parties or to the public. In terms of transparency in the planning and zoning process, I would suggest that the proposed revisions as they stand today are a giant step backwards. This request was apparently from council, according to the Planning Commission documents, and we certainly hope that council will request the planning department to make further revisions to address all the issues before any amendments are considered by Planning Commission or County Council. Thank you very much.
Frank McCleary.
Okay, what she had to speed read there is very. That's in essence why Georgetown County has all these lawsuits on it. And again, it'd be interesting, given the Murdaugh situation and knowing how connected these lawyers are and how they work. Who are the lawyers that they have on retainer? And they got to have some federal lawyer because they got federal lawsuits. And what connection is there, if any? I'm not, just curious. Anytime lawyers are involved, it can get messy and dirty, very dirty. I.e., Alex Murdaugh and the good old boy way of doing things. And this is obviously what we're looking at right here. And for any of them that sit up there in silence, know what's going on, and just sitting back being quiet, a coward. And these days and times, cowards are huge liabilities. They're like the bank sheets of these banks that's fallen. All right, let's get into it.
Madam Vice Chair, the council. I am Frank McCleary, the mayor of Andrews. I was here 30 days ago on the 14th of February to address the concerns of the EMS, which was just talked about by Mrs. Hunt. We also have our fire chief and his lovely wife here and other members of Andrews that are here for the same reason. I'm being the spokesperson. I will address this again. Tonight, again, since that date on the 14th, we have the December, you moved the ambulance. On the 3rd of March, you began to clear the building. And on the 7th of March.
Clear the building. And this is all being, we're playing catch up with these people. Talking about the lives of a lot of you that's watching right now, the lives of your families. Your families, that's whose lives they're playing with. Yours and mine.
You began to demo a building in Andrews. So right now, which without checking, and unfortunately, there was a gas leak that occurred and lasted about 30 minutes. You can imagine what could have happened had that thing ignited. In fact, I understand that the operator of that track hole was injured.
Yes. Head trauma.
So we can imagine his injury, this thing exploding, and what could happen to the folks that lived just around that building. So I was called out on Saturday, and all of the appliances, the HVAC, and everything has been moved. So the question that was asked to you all before, was this a permanent move, and what is the plan to bring this EMS back? And again,
and their answer was, that's exactly what the answer was.
Laid out all the critical and vulnerable citizens that we have there, and we still have not gotten a response back. I want to thank Councilman Everett Carolina for coming down and walking through and seeing what we are witnessing, and actually driving out and seeing some of the challenges with this ambulance being 5 miles away, 8 minutes is just too far. In fact, when I was coming here The ambulance from the Georgetown area was responding to a call in Andrews at 5:15 to someone suffering from shortness of breath. Not so sure of the outcome, but I pray that that person is alive. We as leaders have to make the right decision and get this ambulance back into Andrews. That is our obligation. Thank you.
Bottom line. And Georgetown
Sharon
County,
Carr.
you're writing some stuff down. What say ye, Mr. Raymond Newton?
Good afternoon, all council members. My name is Sharon Carr. I'm a property owner on Black Gum Road, where this is the second reading to have it rezoned from MR to GC.
From MR to GC. Another zoning issue where the second reading, like, it is amazing.
First, I would like again to put on record, as I did with zoning, I have no problem with an individual who owns property maintaining what they want to do with their property. But the property that is up for zoning, my property, as well as I speak for my brother and the cousins about, it surrounds us, so it almost feels like spot zoning to me.
It feels that way, sweetheart, because that's exactly what it is.
I have a great concern with it being zoned general commercial, because it's in the past, what has already been zoned commercial in the front piece is a gas station and a little, I guess I could say, retail place where at PNC Bank.
They pushing y'all out. Y'all better pay attention, man. Y'all better pay attention. It's happening. They ain't nothing they planned. This is happening.
Used to be. And at one time with raising my kids there, I had someone who was lurking in the woods looking at us as we were going into the house. Even though I understand the family members wanting to zone it commercial and are not going to live there, but trying to get more bucks for their money, they're going to sell and they're going to go. You can't do anything with it now for the way it's zoned now and what comps are and what they are. That's how it needs to be sold. I also want to talk to you guys because I also work with St. Elizabeth Place, which is a HUD complex and for seniors. And I want the council to really consider when things come before them as far as affordable housing is concerned. When people hear affordable housing, for some reason I hear the word ghetto, and that is not the case. I work for a nonprofit where I actually—
Thank you, sister.
built affordable housing, which was a house for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, with the principal interest, taxes, and insurance. Those individuals actually put down payment to fill a part of their development and are currently only paying $330 a month. We are a service industry in Georgetown County, and I feel that we're going to have the individuals who want to provide that kind of employment to us. We need to find a place for these people to also be able to—
Instead of rezoning it for different corporations, different building groups, different interests, it's God. You gotta give them
That was our final speaker.
chance to
Thank you, Ms.
respond.
Broach.
So,
Next item, consent agenda. A matter on the consent agenda was previously approved by virtue of the agenda approval. Public hearings. One item, ordinance number 23-03 to amend the future land use map to redesignate 1.9 acres.
and what is right after the people say, hey, look, we don't want to do this. Now they're gonna read this ordinance for the next one. And they've already got the vote planned, okay? This is, I mean, you get to the game and the game is done when dealing with these folks. But that's the comment section. I don't have enough energy to continue with these people right here, man. But we'll stay on them. We'll stay in the fight, and we'll keep pushing. All right. And so make sure this Saturday Big Rig Kids and Friends is going down at the Howard Center Gym, 1510 Hawkins Street, Georgetown, South Carolina. Ms. Hunt, good job. That's how you got to do it. Let's do it, y'all.